What's up? Today we're going to talk about glassing for spring black bears. Hey, what's up? It's Josh from the Dialed In Hunter. Hope everyone's been having a good spring hunting season out there, whether you're out chasing turkeys or black bears. Today we're going to be talking about black bears. We're in the heat of spring bear season right now, so I thought it'd be good to sit down and talk about one of my favorite ways and really what I believe is the most efficient way of finding spring bears, and that's with glassing. Now, you're not going to be able to glass in every piece of country you're in. Some areas are just too dense and you can't see through the trees, okay? But there's a ton of country out there where you can set up and take a pair of binoculars and just scan for miles all around you for feeding game. And that is how I prefer to look for spring bears. And I prefer that for a few reasons. One, it lets you watch a bear be a bear, okay? This is super valuable because you can watch their behavior. Okay, what are they feeding on? Which then you can apply that to other areas to try to find more bears. What kind of country are they hanging out in? That's another thing you can apply to other areas. If you're seeing a bear feeding lower on the hill, then that's going to let you know that maybe there's other bears that are feeding lower on the hill because that's where the most feed is, right? So you just kind of put all this stuff together. And another thing is making a play. Staying back and being very non-intrusive. Like I said, you can watch a bear be a bear, which lets a hunter it gives us the opportunity to be like, okay, well, where's the best spot? And then this doesn't matter if you're rifle hunting or bow hunting. It's all, it's all the same in the end. Where's the best spot for me to set up on this bear? You know what I mean? There's an outcropping right there, and the bear tends to be moving from left to right in the evening, and I can get on that outcropping and I can get a shot from there. Stuff like that, I think glassing is really great for. So, my preferred glassing setup, what I like to use, 95% of the time I'm using binoculars, whether I'm freehanding them or they're on a tripod. I'm not really glassing too much with a spotting scope for spring bears. When bears are out feeding, they kind of like to let you know it. They stick out pretty well when they're out in the open feeding on grass and stuff. So unless I really want to like get a closer look at a bear, really from my own nerdism, I love bear hunting. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not really spending a whole lot of time behind a spotting scope. So my setup, what I like to use, this is a 10x42. I think that's a great all-around magnification of binocular, just across the board. It's the most versatile in my opinion. This is a Razor UHD from Vortex. I can look through these things all day long, and I don't have an Advil bill that's like going out of style. Okay, so super happy with these. I like to mount these on a tripod. It's the Summit Carbon 2 from Vortex, and then the tripod head is a Saray VA5. That setup right there, you can do a lot of damage with that out in bear country. So that's what I like to use. Okay, so as far as where to start looking for bears, this is kind of daunting, especially for somebody that's never bear hunted before. What I like to do first off, a topo map's going to be your best friend, whether that's on your phone or a paper map. You need a topographical map. Okay, bears like quiet, remote areas. All right. Now, some people out there might argue with me about that. Oh, you can find bears pretty close to roads, and that's true. Okay. However, if you're kind of trying to go for an ace in a hole, all right, and really, mitigate any potential issues you'd have with hunting pressure, bears being pressured by hunters, anything like that, like just get away from the roads and stuff. Like bears want quiet places where they can be a bear and not be disturbed. Okay. So obviously wilderness areas are something to pay attention to. But on top of that, you can find areas on topographical maps that are not technically wilderness areas, but they're big tracts of public land that don't have any roads or trails going through them. These areas are often overlooked by a majority of people, and I think they offer great opportunities for quality hunting. So a lot of times with these types of areas, what I'm doing is I'm just literally gonna pull off the side of a road and hike in to these roadless areas. And more times than not, I don't see anybody in areas like these because they get overlooked, and there's not like a defined access point. Access points attract people. Okay, it are, you know, especially like for wilderness areas like trailheads and trails. Those are the roadways of the backcountry, you know, you can find some really, really great hunting in wilderness areas. I'm not saying don't go into a wilderness area, but don't overlook outside of wilderness areas. There's some really great hunting to be had. So I'll notate areas like that on a map, but topographically, what I'm looking for is obviously you want water. So aside from topography, you want water. Bears, they need water. Okay, they sleep in it. They're drinking in it. They're playing in it. Water is mandatory. I won't even look in an area. I won't even go like scout an area if there's not water there. Back to the topographic side of things. You want, what I like to look for is east-west running canyons. Okay, east-west main drainages. Okay, and what that does, it gives you a great starting point. Okay, so if this is north and this is south, you have a canyon, a main drainage that runs like this. Okay, with water in the bottom of it. Right, what that offers is a south face and a north face. Okay, the north face is going to be ideal for cover and bedding and stuff like that, security. And the south face, a lot of times that, you know, these bears are growing up on these south faces, and this is where a lot of the feed is. The south faces they tend to be not as dense in vegetation, so they get more sunlight, which means more green comes up, which in the springtime, this is kind of what bears are focused on. This is not a set in stone rule, okay? But like I said, it's a good starting point. Recently, on a trip in Idaho, I started at this point here, and the south faces looked great. However, in the spot that I was in, on the top of the ridge of the south face, there was like 3-4 feet of snow up there. So bears tend to den. They're going to tend to den on north faces. Again, rules are made to be broken, okay? But in general, bears are going to tend to den on north faces. They hold the snow the longest, which means that they're going to be they're not going to be disturbed. You know, because of all the snow, it's going to cover up their den. They're going to be able to come out, and there's going to be green somewhere for them to get into and eat. This is where the bears were when I went, actually. There's a big strip of 3-4 foot snow that was keeping the bears from coming over to the south face. Just be prepared to be flexible, okay? But as far as where to start, east-west running canyon, south face, north face, start poking around in that type of area. All right, so aside from like where to start looking on a map, I mentioned food on the south faces, okay? So bears are absolutely slaves to their stomachs. This is super duper crucial for quality bear hunting. You really need to identify and locate the food source and act accordingly, okay? So across the board for springtime, I'd say the most popular food source for black bears is spring grass. It's spring green up. And the reason why they're going after the grass so much right in the beginning is because their digestive system isn't quite woken up yet. They need to wake it up, and they do that with grass. Their stomachs can't really handle meat yet when they first come out of the den, so they use grass to get everything moving again, and then they'll pass a plug, and then they can venture out and start eating some other stuff. So find the green up, man. Find those lush green patches of grass in the right country, and more times than not, you're gonna find bears. You just kind of got to put the puzzle together, put the puzzle pieces together, and you'll end up finding bears. As the season progresses, though, food sources start multiplying more. Okay, so I've witnessed, aside from the green grass, I've seen bears eating flowers. A lot of times there's a nectar in the flower that they'll get into, and they really like that. Flipping rocks for bugs and stuff. Raspberries, you know, there's berry patches that pop up in the late spring. And then another one is actually the fawn drop. So when deer and elk are dropping their young, this is like a dinner bell to a black bear. It's an easy meal, which offers a great opportunity to actually predator call for black bears. Really effective way of getting a bear to come into you, predator calling during the fawn drop. So what I'm getting at with all this is you really need to do some research on what are the preferred food sources for black bears in the area you're going to. You know, it might be wild onions, you know, who knows, you know, so by identifying these food sources, you can, that really can be the difference between you finding that honey hole that's holding a good number of bears and not. So it's all about the food. Find the food, you'll find the bears. So lastly, what I want to leave you with here is you need to hunt all day, okay? Like, you don't need to do whatever you want, it's your life, okay? But when it comes to looking for spring bears, it is not just a morning and evening thing. Some people out there might say it's just only an evening thing, and I will harshly disagree with that. One of the biggest bears I've seen has been in the morning, okay? Evening might be better than the morning, but if you're not out there, you're not going to see any bears moving around. So hunt all day long, man. The cool thing about the springtime, in my opinion, is the weather's usually pretty nice. So it's not too hot. It's oftentimes not too cold. So you can sit out there on the hill comfortably, just glassing around from sun up to sundown. And you're just increasing your chances of finding a bear. Okay, bears, what I've noticed them do throughout an entire day in the springtime is I might see a bear, you know, maybe 6:37 in the morning. He's out feeding. Okay, then he'll go bed down for like an hour, and then he gets up and then he feeds again. Okay, and then he beds down, and he gets up and he feeds again, and they'll kind of do that throughout the whole day, with a strong emphasis on the morning and the evening. But I've seen some slammer bears at noon, you know, when most people are back at camp, you know, taking a nap or something like that. And I'm telling you what, man, like, just stay out there, and you'll be surprised at what walks out throughout the entire day. So hunt all day long for spring black bears. All right, that's gonna do it. Glassing for spring black bears, man. I'm telling you what, spring bear season is one of my favorite hunting seasons of the entire year. The weather's usually great. The bears are out walking around, and it's just a nice time to be out on the hill, man. So, plus, if you've never tried bear meat, I will say you are missing out. I know quite a few people that prefer black bear meat over elk. So take that for what it is. It's a bold statement, but it's true. Okay, so if you liked the video, please hit thumbs up. If you like the channel, please hit subscribe. And until next time, stay safe out there.